here at Worldwide Technology Raceway in advance of tomorrow's Enjoy Illinois 300. We are joined by our most recent race winner, who was actually introduced by Corey, Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Team Penske Ford. We will go straight to questions for Ryan. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. Go up here to Pete.
Pete Stoney from SiriusXM. Did you have a feeling of satisfaction that you finally maybe shut some people up who are asking about you being able to win again?
No,
Including on our channel, quite frankly.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't have satisfaction for that. I more satisfaction and enjoyment and excitement of winning again and winning with the great group of guys I got, and it was satisfying. Yeah, not having to answer when are you going to win again. But that wasn't really at the top of my list. It was just really nice to get in victory lane and to win the race that we did was really cool as well. It's stacked on top of that. So got more enjoyment out of just finally just winning, and haven't had that feeling in a while, right? So it was nice to get back to kind of that headspace and get our first one with Jonathan too. That was definitely very special.
Gonna go to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. What did you think about NASCAR deciding to suspend Chase, and does that kind of set a tone to everyone that type of move is not going to be accepted?
Yeah, I mean, in their position, what happened to Bubba last year is very similar to what happened, on Monday night. So I feel like if you're going to make a call on one guy for doing some move, you have to be consistent in what you call on another guy for doing a move. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. So, it's good that they were kind of consistent in the calls for the exact same, kind of retaliation. And I think that's how it should be, right? I mean, that's, kind of the most dangerous move I think you can kind of do to somebody is the hook deal. So, but yeah, it was good. NASCAR was consistent. That's really, I haven't really thought about it too much, but yeah, you gotta make the same call for the same move for everybody.
And now that NASCAR has all the data, do you feel like it puts them in either maybe an easier or more difficult position in the sense of they can potentially tell maybe more whether something is intentional or not?
Yeah, I mean, man, you got data and you got more information than you've ever had, and you can go back and look at that stuff. I mean, obviously, Denny poured it out on the internet of pleading his case, right? And, but the data is one thing. The other thing is things happen so quick, and it's in the spur of the moment. It's super hard to go off of just data, right? There's other things, and things happen really fast, and you don't know the emotions of somebody, and you don't know if, something, I'm not saying this in this situation, but if something is broken or if it's a genuine mistake, or I don't think you can heavily rely on data. You can maybe look at that, but then you have to kind of look at the situation. You have to watch videos of it. I think there's a lot more things going on, but yeah, the data seemed to be I wouldn't say it's a big factor in what their decision they made, but yeah, it's definitely something I'm sure everyone's going to be, look what this guy did to me. Here's his data. He was wide open and never lifted and turned right or turned left. And I don't think you need to get too into that stuff. Honestly, it's like, when you get wrecked, I mean, but yeah, the data side it's out there for the whole world to see. And it's a good tool to use if you want to try to get somebody in trouble. So it's almost like tattletaling to the principal, to be honest with you, but everyone goes about it their own way.
Gonna go to Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. The data is interesting to mere mortals who we watch it, we look on the internet, we're not race car drivers. At first I thought, I don't know if I'd want my data up on the internet. Would it bother you that, somebody would post, hey, look what Blaney did if it was you? Are drivers protective of that data? You guys get to see it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a little different, right? That data really isn't public knowledge, right? No fan has SMT. Right, it's just the teams, and drivers look at every driver's SMT, right? During practice, you look at it, and it's well known in the garage, but it's not like a race scanner to where fans can look at that, right? You have it on, the broadcast a little bit, but it's not as sophisticated as what the SMT stuff is. So, me personally, I don't mind. If someone wants to look at my data, they can. There's nothing special on there. It's steering and brake and throttle and stuff like that. So it's really nothing special. But yeah, it is a little bit different. The fans, don't really have access to that stuff to that level. But I really wouldn't mind. honestly. I'd be more worried about my internet browser getting leaked than my data.
If you're, you're so funny. If it was posted, so fans could see the data, or media
Yeah.
could see the data, maybe that's step one. Would you be for that?
Like posting it just like every lap. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to do that. Like that's, I mean, there's data's been around for a really long time, SMT and stuff like that, and that's kind of the first time I remember seeing it, like someone using it as pleading their case. Yeah, I don't know if we should make that the norm, but everyone goes about it differently. But Denny's a big data guy, right? I mean, he always looks at that stuff and relies on that stuff. And like I said, everyone's different. So I don't know if it needs to be the norm, but like I said, I can't really do anything about it if someone wants to put it out there. Unlike the other thing.
Go to Justin.
Justin Schuler, Kicking the Tires. Blaney, we were talking earlier. Obviously, you come off this long winless streak. You finally get the win, but it's not just a win. It's the 600. So this is your first big, out of our big three, big four races that you finally won. You've come close to the 500 a few times, but obviously, what's it like to get one of those crown jewels and get that trophy in your case?
Yeah, it was, it was kind of easy to overlook the 600 because it was our first win in a long time. So it's like, man, we're cool to be in victory lane. And I kept reminding the guys, like, what a cool one to get. It's a crown jewel. It's 600. It's, super difficult race to win, obviously. And, so yeah, it was trying to keep that in your head too. If we just won a really, really big race, an important race as well, stacked on top of, first win with a lot of these guys that I'm working with, and me and Jonathan's first win. And so yeah, that definitely meant a lot. I grew up going to the 600, watching Dad race for a long time, so that was super special. And to have them there, kind of put the cherry on top too. To have my mom and dad and sisters there, so yeah, it's definitely it sinks in during the week and until about Thursday, and then you're Wednesday or Thursday, and then you're focused on trying to get another one. So.
All right, we have quite a few questions out there, so I just want to get these through as quickly as I can. We'll go to Lee, and then we'll go to Steve.
Ryan Lee, Spencer, catchfence.com. Kind of curious, that move of Chase's seemed really uncharacteristic for him. And you guys are both second generation, well, you're a third generation driver, but does a guy just snap in that moment when something like that happens that you just normally wouldn't I mean, you guys are good friends, something that just normally would be uncharacteristic of someone.
Yeah, I mean, people snap at some point, no matter who they are, and outside looking in, I think he got tired of getting run in the fence 2 or 3 times and just had enough of it and reacted the way that he reacted. So, yeah, it's everyone, like I said, no matter if it's not their character, you sometimes have moments of you're just over it, right? And you're sick of getting run in the fence or something like that, and you see uncharacteristic things when that happens. So.
Ryan, Steve Post, Motor Racing Network. You talked about the importance of the 600 to you and your guys. Roger Penske winning the Indianapolis 500, the Coca-Cola 600 on the same weekend, not the same day. Would you share any of the conversations with Roger, what that meant to be able to do that, and just kind of the big picture global thing for Team Penske?
Yeah, that was, huge and amazing. And, sitting in the rain on Sunday watching the 500 was really exciting. And those last restarts were nail biting, and you know what's at stake. Mr. Penske's sitting on 18. They got a great chance to win it. Haven't really been in that spot in a few years of a legit shot to win the 500. And gosh, Joseph did an amazing job. I mean, he's a stud, man, and he does such a cool thing over there. And when he won, it's like, okay, this is a big pressure on us whenever we do get going. And personally, I didn't know until Monday that the sweep has never been done before, and pretty amazing. A company and a person like Roger who's done so much in motorsports, that's never happened, and it was cool to be a part of it. Be a part of finishing the job and completing the sweep. And I was able to call him Monday night around midnight. They were on the plane headed back to Michigan after the Indy banquet, and it was cool to talk to him for a little bit. It was him and Miss Penske, and they were really excited. He said they were at the Indy banquet and they had their phones under the table and they were watching the end of the race. So, and then I talked to him like 3 times the next day. So it's super cool to contribute to something like that, especially for RP, how great he's been to me. And the Tuesday afternoon win celebration with Penske with the IndyCar folks and NASCAR folks, that was a very cool moment too.
Going to come up front to Daniel, and then we'll go in the middle.
Daniel McFadden, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. First, where's the Coke machine going that you won?
Yeah, I got a spot for it in a bar I got built. So it's I haven't gotten it yet, but yeah, I have a pretty good place for it. That thing's pretty cool, very cool.
Okay, so Corey LaJoie, he's got a big moment ahead of him this weekend. As a driver, if you were in his shoes as a guy who'd been chipping away, stacking pennies for years, and you suddenly have this huge opportunity just drop in your lap like this, how would you approach a weekend like this, a race like this?
Yeah, for him, it's in the circumstances, obviously an amazing opportunity. He's put a ton of work in. He's done a great job in anything he's given, especially the 7 car. He's done an amazing job in, and for him to get a chance with the Hendrick Motorsports team, that's great for him. So, he's a fiery competitor, and he tries, extremely hard, and he has the talent. And I'm looking at it. He can go out and win this race, and I think he's going to take every opportunity he can to try to achieve that. So I would say really don't do anything different than what's gotten him here, right? He's done great. He's been amazing. He's gotten great finishes and gotten everything out of the car. Now you're in some, better equipment, really great team around you. Just continue to do your thing and run the way you know how to run. And, hopefully that is enough to, contend for the win. And that's just the way I look at it. My mindset would be, but, he's good enough and done a great enough job to where I think if he's just himself, he's going to be in contention.
Going to wrap up with one final question in the middle.
Steven Stump, frontshift.com. Back to last week, obviously, it had been a bit of a struggle to start the season for Ford. Logano at Atlanta, and then you at Charlotte. Those are the only 2 so far. Ford had kind of struggled a little bit on the 1.5-mile tracks. Do you feel like with how good you guys were at Charlotte, has you and maybe Team Penske as a whole found something that you can keep repeating going forward?
Yeah, I hope so. It's been no secret. We've struggled a little bit on the intermediates and mile and a halves, and been trying to search for speed and trying to figure out, the new nose that we have. It's been a little bit of a struggle. So really proud of the efforts, from everybody, from, Ford and Penske and Roush Yates engines. We were all working, around the clock and trying to get better. And I think hopefully what we found at Charlotte, they had the speed that we had, contend with the, the cars that have been really good on the mile and a halves. Hopefully we can, carry that forward to other mile and a halves and maybe even, everywhere else. Everything kind of matters. So that was definitely a shot in the arm for sure. And hopefully we can continue, that success and that speed.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Ryan. Good luck this weekend.